Hey harmonizers, get ready for some laydown and trail riding tips as we get into this last day of the Become the Center of Your Horse's Universe workshop, and then getting a chance to focus on my boys and getting to do a few things with them. So let's jump into it, starting with some laydown tips. This is King, who has just started to learn the tap cue for head down. And what you can see is that he's starting to think down. And this is what we want to get. We want everything to be very relaxing and calm. You can see he's just rubbing his little nose there, but he's starting to look at the dirt a little bit. And he's starting to put his nose really low to the ground. And once I've taught them to lower their head with the tapping, then I just am looking for something that's more towards the ground. So if he starts to do anything that looks like he's starting to think about laying down, that's when I'm going to cookie and reward. Here he's just kind of staring at the ground what to do next. And this is going to kind of come back to what I'll show you guys a little bit later on in the video of what's an important step to make sure you've done with your horse. But here I'm using the stick. You can see I brought my dressage whip up just briefly for a second there, and then he did a brief little paw on the ground because he knows it has something to do with that of the ground. But this is kind of what it looks like in the beginning stages when the horse is really just figuring it out. It's a bit of a waiting game and a bit of a timing game. And then we let Newton and King have some time in the arena to themselves to see if they wanted to have more space, and they ended up having this adorable little bromance going on. They just think each other are amazing and are grooming each other, and they actually would share the stall while they ate their grain because they really do not fight with each other at all. They just think they are each other's best friends. So it's so great that they were able to bond so well with each other, and that they really get along. Here's a little look as we wrapped up the Become the Center of Your Horse's Universe clinic. Some people earned their student levels, and one of the tasks is to give your horse a stuffed bear ride that falls off and your horse doesn't spook. So you can see they all passed. And then before heading out on the trail ride, I had to get my kids nice and tired so that way they would hopefully sleep while one of the friends down there, Peggy, was going to watch the kids for us while we went for King and Newton's first trail ride. So there's this awesome park out in Brattleboro, so much with the swings and the slides, super cute little train area here. So we took them into Brattleboro, played at the park, tried to get them all tired out. Melina crawling around on the train, and she's starting to move around a bit more. She even got to do the slide, which she really likes. She basically dives off of the slide as soon as you put her onto it, which is super cute. And Evelyn doing the bigger slides, of course. And then it was super neat because as we drove into Brattleboro to get a little bit of lunch, we came across another park, which was super cool because it was set right by the forest. Had this really cool rock climb wall thing. I hadn't ever seen one of the playgrounds with a rock wall climb like this before, so I thought that was pretty neat. So I'm like, yes, do some more climbing. We need you nice and tired while we go for our trail ride. And kind of neat that they also had some noise makers and some spinny things at this park. And they also had another neat kind of leaf climb thing. I don't really know what to call it. But just some neat different things I hadn't seen before. So some different things to keep in mind to look for in different playgrounds, which is pretty cool. Some beautiful views in Brattleboro, and time for our first trail ride. So this is King that I'm riding out on the first trail ride. This is literally right at the start as we are walking out the driveway. Melissa's leading us there. And we decided that because it was the boys' first trail ride, that's Newton and Sarah in the back there, that Melissa would lead the whole trail ride on one of her super steady Eddie horses, Flirt, who is just a really nice, calm horse for them to follow. One of the things that's really important when you're training new horses for trail riding is that horses are affected by the other energy in the group. So it's not a good idea to go out with a bunch of crazy people. It's much better to go out with a horse that's calm and can lead that energy and give that confidence. And we got to this beautiful spot in this open field here. Vermont is just absolutely stunning. It's me on King. And we took a moment. He got to have a little bit of grass out here too. We decided that we would mostly walk for virtually almost the whole trail ride. We did some trotting and a little bit of canter, and then they got to have a little bit of grass in this spot here, trying to make it really, really relaxing for them. And it was important that on our way home, probably about the last 15 minutes of the ride, all we did was walking. And that's because we don't want to teach the horses to run towards home. And sometimes people get so excited and they're close to home and they rush home. And we want to make sure that we teach our horses that we are walking towards home only. So this is returning to the driveway here. And you can see that King is just walking really calmly. Everybody's walking on a loose rein. And we stayed in the same order, which is really important. You don't allow the horses to switch on the way home. And then once we got back, we took advantage of the fact that the boys were hot and sweaty after the ride. We gave them a nice little hose off. And then this is a really important step in teaching your horse to lay down, is you need to kind of catch them when they lay down naturally and offer lots of rewards, because that will let the horse know that they can be comfortable laying down around you. So it's a really good step to do with your horse if you can. We just took advantage of that, and there you can see Sarah shooed King away, because the last thing you want is, as you are rewarding your horse, for them to get bothered by another horse that comes around. That could potentially ruin the trust they have for doing that task. So I had the camera there while Newton was laying down, and then it kind of worked out nicely that when King started to think about laying down, that Newton was kind of done and we were able to switch. But we just let them do that naturally on their own, where we got them wet. They were hot and sweaty and tired already, and we were prepared with cookies in our pockets, so that way if they did lay down, that we would be able to reward them. And sometimes horses get scolded for laying down with tack or something like that, and you don't want your horse to lay down with tack. So this is a nice way to just say, hey, it's okay, you can lay down. You can see Newton was like, all right, if I stay down here, am I going to get some more cookies? Because this seemed to be a pretty good deal. You can see King's looking like he wants to lay down in the back there after Newton had his turn. So that was kind of handy that then Sarah was able to take the camera and I walked over. And you want to walk over quickly enough that you can give the cookies before the horse gets up, but not so quickly that you startle the horse. So there you can see I get in there just in time to give King some cookies before he goes to stand up. And then you always want to allow your horse to stand up. You don't want them to feel trapped going down at all. So that gives you a few tips for getting the lay down started. After that, we wrapped up with a music concert that was in one of the indoor arenas nearby. They were throwing a little concert get together thing, which was kind of cool. Evelyn tired herself out a little bit more. And that wrapped up the Become the Center of Your Horse's Universe course, as well as our first trail ride with the boys. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and check out this gorgeous night sky in Vermont.